Hello, Americans, and other friends and subscribers around the world. Back here, man. Dude, you ask yourself, I ask myself, what is that crazy hillbilly doing today? Well, I talked about it. This is the back side of my one shed. It's a rinky-dink, mother. You know, the framing across here is good. You can see, you don't see it, but this old cottonwood tree, this is the one I've got to take that branch off right there. This thing's going to, this tree ever goes, it is going to squish my shed. And it's funny because when we first bought the place, you know, 6 or 7 years ago, and pulled in here, we pulled the old gypsy wagon right along here, and then this was built. I've told this story multiple times, but you know, you never know. Somebody might not have heard it, man. But this little shed thing here, this basically just a lean-to, man. And I built this lean-to. The first, man, we signed on this place on I think it was like July 15th, 7 years ago, and we drove the old gypsy wagon motorhome that sits over there on the side of the cabin up here, because I didn't have the vagabond or a way to get it up here at the time, you know, and it was 130 miles away is where it was at, which I actually pulled the squirrel. I actually pulled the I bought the gypsy wagon from a great couple. I don't know if they still watch me. If you guys still watch the videos, man, give us a shout out. From a couple, where was it? It was in Oregon. I bought it in Oregon towards Vail. So then I pulled it, and this was like in, man, I don't remember. I started, the first video I ever did was the year the world was supposed to end on, right around Christmas. I can't even remember the whole date, man, whatever that was. And from the Vagabond. And anyway, so I pulled it from Vail, Oregon, to down there on the outskirts of Nampa, the little dump that we were, I want to get into that, this place that we were living. And then, you know, redid it and all that stuff, and then eventually got it up here. But anyway, so we get up here in the motorhome. We drive that old motorhome that some great friends of ours actually gave us that old motorhome. Drove it up here and parked it over here where you can't, about where that light's, if you can see that light over there. Had it here. Well, we're up here, man, and we'd borrowed money to get up here, the last load up here. I mean, we were flat busted, man. We signed on this in July and wasn't going to be able to get moved on to here, get all our junk up here, to, you know, for a month or two, which we finally moved on here full time October, that, you know, July, August, September, August. So it took us 3 months to move all this junk up here. You know, and still try to make a living. But anyway, so we parked the motorhome right here, and then I just went around, man. It's all lodge poles, some beams that I brought up here, and then all the tin and metal is metal and tin that I just picked up everywhere. Same thing with what I did with the Vagabond when we first got it up here. Slapped this thing together, and this was put up for shade, man, because in July when we brought the motorhome, man, it was hot up here. So we put this over, and this was just for shade. Never planned on, you know, leaving it as long as it has. And the funny thing that I was trying to get at, it's a long way around, is this old cottonwood tree. When we first bought this piece of property, we pull in here, and I'm like, man, you don't want to put nothing. Look at that cottonwood tree, man. We're going to take it down, because, I mean, this thing just goes straight out over everything, you know. And I was like, man, someday that the mother's going to fall. So what do? Hey, I think I'll build me a shed right underneath that cottonwood tree right there. It's still standing, but, man, I'm telling you, I don't know if you can see it right there. It's leaning. It's the leaning tower. Oh, look at that. You see that? And then it goes on up. Let's see. See, right over the top of the shed. But, and then I'm just going to do, my goal is to just, because I kind of like it. I actually got a big old post that's pretty much grown into the side of that thing now. So my goal is to, and it's still alive, man. There's this dead branch that goes off this way that I want to cut, and I actually want to top it. And I want to leave this with a few little branches and just have it so it's manageable and stuff, and just kind of incorporate it into I'm one with the earth, man. I'm a back to earther, dude. All right, so anyway, what I'm up to is I've talked about it. What I was going to do it is I'm going to put tarps. Let's do another one. But I'm tarping this side of the building, because once the snow comes back, man, you get them winds coming. This is overlooking the creek bottom. Man, you can hear all the snow equipment removal, and then they got an old boy's got a mill up and running. So a lot of logging type traffic's going on right now. But this is the creek bottom, so you don't get a ton. But man, you get those, when we get those big winds that, and I don't remember big winds like that back in the day, but them winds and stuff that we get these days, it gets in here and starts whipping it. Man, the one time I had snow from here, and it's pretty good John over to there, but man, there was that much snow that it, I'm bleeding. That much snow just blew in there and just covered everything. So man, I'm going to get this wall thing, just a tarp wall up here, and then I'm going to start diving into all this junk that you see in the background. Like I was saying yesterday, man, there is stuff in here that I haven't seen in 6 years, so should pull out some good treasures too. So now I'm kind of digging through. I've got that tarp up on that end of that shed, and pardon me, got that tarp up on the end of the shed, and then I ended up on the other end of the shed. There was just had some old door and stuff leaned up there. I didn't even realize it, so I ended up putting up a couple of pieces of metal. And of course now in that shed, it's dark. So now I'm looking around because I always pick up, man, I love the old service station or barn, the green enamel lights. The problem is, man, a lot of them that I find are, worth pretty good dang money, so I end up selling them. But I've got two that I've kept that I just want, sometimes you just got to keep it, no matter what the value, it's just cool, man. I want to have a couple of those in here. But anyway, so something I always do is what I was getting at, squirrel, is I always pick up old porch lights. I don't know if you can see that light over there. There's an old porch light there. I love, any of the old barns and cabins and shacks and, anything that we go that we're treasure hunting, and if it's one falling down or whatever, man, I'm always looking at different light fixtures, whether it be out on the porch or inside or whatever. I just love old light fixtures. And then one of the things that I do with them is I always keep, cords off of anything that's wore out or whatever. I cut the power cord off. For one thing, it's when you're a recycler, type of thing, you do that because of the wire, but I always keep the plugs so that I can wire up the lights and just make a porch light or whatever, a portable, where I can put it wherever the heck I want it. So right now, like these old, these came out of an old cabin. This is all, man, this is way back too, man. These might turn out to be something, but they're kind of beat up, but man, they're pretty cool. And I got 3 bases and 4 lights. I remember I had a couple of more, and I'm not sure, man, there was some kind of chandelier type of thing, man, but they're pretty cool, all copper, old copper lights that, I don't know, I'm going to have to check out the value on these. That's a little fancier, and the top of them almost looks like it's been ripped off or whatever they were mounted to. Oh, actually, they came off of these. Here's the old base. Yeah, so man, it was like, that's a bummer. I don't know. Yeah, you could kind of fix it. That's exactly what it is right there. Look at there, like ceiling lamps, man. So that's, oops, that's pretty dang cool. So I'm gonna play with these. I might have to mount one of those. What I'm doing, man, is because now that I put that wall, you know, or the tarp up on the end of that shed, man, it is dark in there. And I'll tell you what, that is, you know, when we first, you watch back on the old videos, you know, and we were down the flatlands and redoing the bag and all that and headed out, you know, our plan, if you've been with us, is you know that, and if not, you know, and welcome to all the new subscribers, viewers out there. But if you look back on the older videos, you know, our plan was to go, you know, 100% off-grid, man, you know, everything. You know, so we were going to do the solar, all that. I'd still like to do solar on here. But as it turned out, you know, and the Lord works in mysterious ways, man. Great Spirit's always looking out for you. Because we ended up paying for this property, a big portion of it with our knives, you know, making our knives. And yes, I could forge out all my knives and put in a ton more time without electricity. But it's nice to have the grinders and the sanders, you know, and all that, man, and makes it to where you don't have as much time into them. But anyway, that's how we paid for, man, for, I guess up till a year ago or something, man. It's been a while. It's been about a year since I was pounding out knives. But I mean, you know, we ended up on this piece of property that had electricity. It was not the plan. This is the piece we ended up getting into it, man. Now, I mean, especially with eBay and, you know, we sell other, you know, off our website and different things like that, but just e-commerce, you know, when you're shipping stuff out, you know, it's not that far for us to go to the post office. We go to the post office 5 days a week, sometimes 6. So, as it turned out, this is where we're supposed to be, man. Everything happens for a reason, dude. But, yeah, so this, you know, today, man, not a lot of excitement going around. Showed a little bit of stuff over there. I'd take you, right now, there's no way that you'd even be able to see anything in there. Ah, what the heck, we'll try it anyway. Look at that, so there's a sign that KDee Jo made for me. And of course, you got to have your, that one was off my mom's car, that one's off my Grandma Joe's car, and that's my great-grandma Bertha. And then, of course, the Lord giveth and the government taketh away. Right, so I kind of got, man, it's a tall, actually you can see, because I did put up, so I got a light up there and a light up there for temporary. It's not too bad in here right now with the lights. So, I know, to you, you're going, man, that dude's got a lot of junk sitting in there. But I'll tell you what, a couple hours ago, there was no path here. It was solid. So I've been filling up some trash cans and going through and pulling out a lot of, man, there is just, you know, anything from antlers. I know that's my race truck, man, when I raced out at Radiant Speedway. But, what's it got on here? But this old, man, look at that old money box there. I see copper there. Catalytic heater there. And my welder, and actually somebody this is just a little Harbor Freight 110 welder, wire feed welder. And somebody had asked me if I had a welder. I sold, you know, because we were planning on going 100% off grid, so I sold my stick welder when we were in the process of selling everything off to, you know, to move off grid. And now that we ended up, hey, perfect, man. I had to stand there for you, and I didn't even know it. But now that we ended up here and we do have power, I have no 220, so I need to put a, but I do have a long cord, so I could pull it a pretty good distance. Because the RV slots, I need to talk to an electrician, or my brother's was kind of was an electrician for an elevator company, so I need to actually talk to him and see, have him look at the these RV boxes, because I'm not sure. I don't know, I just really don't. Like I said, man, I was an electrician apprentice for 8 months, and all that taught me is I didn't like messing with electricity. When it blew strippers out of my hand, I knew this was not the job for me. But anyway, I got to get a 220, then I'll get me a stick welder. So that answers, because somebody had just asked me, old boy was saying, man, who was it? And I always forget your names on there, and I called somebody, somebody. And he's all, hey, I'm somebody. But anyway, somebody was saying that they used to have a plow business, and he wishes he was closer because he still has some plows. And he was also saying that, which I've actually heard before, and that's because it's Ford tough, is a Ford is the best for a snowplow in the front of a truck. The Ford's the best truck to use for that. But one of the reasons for that, you know, man, I was a tow truck driver and I also drove car hauler, and I'll tell you what, Chevy, Ford, and Dodge, when they say Ford tough, especially when it comes to the frame, it's no joke, man. The framing and the wimpiest frame on the American market is the Chevy. And I like some Chevys, man. I've had quite a few Chevys. Chevy pickups, Chevy Suburbans, all that. Now that we get into that. And then you really want to get psychopolitical on here is one of my main things that even made me like Ford. Even, man, I love my Dodges, you know, man. My dream vehicle of all vehicles, or my two, would be, number one would be a 69 Dodge Charger, man. The General Lee would be my number one above all cars. But I want mine jacked up, and I want it to be a 4-wheel drive. And then my other one, obviously, is a Volkswagen bus. But, and I don't care about how many windows it's got. I just had 2 buses, and I should have kept one. Anyway, the Ford, when they did all that bailout, you know, which the companies paid back and all that stuff, you know, as far as I know. Let's not get all political. Don't be getting all crazy on me. But I loved when Ford, what is it, the grandson that runs it or whatever now, when he said, we made it through the first depression and we'll make it through this, man. That, man, total respect, man, total respect. I thought that was awesome. So anyway, man, so you can see, I could set the camera up, but I don't think you want me watch me go through all this junk. There's my old fish bag. But I'm going to get this cleared out, and then I'm actually, after we get that cleared out, is I have some, I have a bunch of, oh my gosh, I need to set that back over. Bunch of stuff stacked outside the cook shack over there, outside of it on some pallets with tarps over it, and I want to get this area cleared out and this other area right here cleared out, and I'm actually going to bring a couple of pallets in here and stack all that stuff so it's not out there just under tarps. Then we'll have it up underneath this. So you can see the tarp wall. I didn't really show it. This is just an old door just kind of tacked on here. So I ended up going down. So there's one of those green lights right there, man. One of them old shop lights. I always call them all old service stations because when I was a kid, all the service stations had all those over the pumps. But I've got an old tarp up along this side. This stuff tarp, got a little through that. Then I slapped some metal because I didn't realize, because that door, this old barn door right here that came off an old barn that we tore down, was actually just leaning up here. So I just slapped a couple of pieces of metal on there. And I got to fill up that. But you know, like I said, it's just a lean-to, man. Lean-to with some stuff to block out the deal. Look at that old... Whoa, man, I about knocked my head off. Old planet, man, I better take that out. That's pretty dang cool. Look at that, man. And that is, you know, see, one way to tell the age, too, especially these days, ain't no barcodes on that bad boy. The funny thing is, you look at that old nasty mother and clean it up a little bit, and it actually, probably should look that thing up. Okay, this ain't no Mountain Junkers video, sir. I'm always treasure hunting, man. It don't matter what channel we're on. Then I got this old Maxwell house one too I set up here, but it's full of screws. And then some of these old Christmas tins are pretty good too, and those are full of nuts and bolts. Look at that little propane tank in to keep. All right, man. So that's the like I've said, look at that old generator. Like I've said a zillion times, is, man, you just get whatever this old hillbilly's doing that day is what you get, and this is the extent of it. Tomorrow, we may end up running down. Man, we haven't been anywhere to get any supplies for a bit, and there's a big storm rolling in. It's actually supposed to be a rain-snow mix, but I mean, it's supposed to be pretty gnarly over the weekend, so we may end up going and get some supplies tomorrow, and if we do, we'll take you along for that, of course. I was going to jump on, let me talk about right now, too, we're holding off on the, as you can tell, you're not on the GoPro right now. Still, man, I went to pull it out, I was going to use it yesterday, and when you turn the thing off, if you're not paying attention, it'll turn itself back on. So I must have ran it, that must have happened to me, and it was dead when I went to use it yesterday. So, man, but we are going to be using, man, I love that little thing. So I'm going to be using that. Still got to practice. I have not got that, we had a few issues with that box and all that. We think we have that figured out, and we want to do a test thing on that. But this week, or the next few days, is pretty busy, so I don't want to take too long with editing, because right now, learning and doing all of that, is the editing with the GoPro is way longer than it takes me with the one for the Panasonic, but I will be using it, and I love that thing. But other than that, man, please remember to like, subscribe, and share. It helps keep the lights on and the home fires burning, and the propane tanks full. And what else, man? Check out the links below. I'm going to be I got a whole pile of stuff. I should have showed that too. I got a whole pile of stuff in here I'm getting ready to haul in. Got to clean it up a little bit. Going through them treasures. Hope to do a Mountain Junkers video over there. So make sure to run over and check out Mountain Junkers. And subscribe while you're over there too. And other than that, man, everything. Oh yeah, Miss Kitty's line, man, help support the homestead. Everything down below helps support the homestead. So thank you very much for that. And good Lord willing, and the creeks don't rise, we'll be back again tomorrow. See ya.